which probably is a relief on their tyres, on their hand-coop rubber, which does take a punishing around this circuit, such as the speed of the track. Got the new left tyres on the car. So it's just going to be a half-an-hour race, which means it will finish just before 7 o'clock.
Air temperature drops down quite a lot, but the track temperature stays at 19 degrees, which is nice, but that'll drop as soon as the sun will go.
Really nice to have great weather here at Zandvoort. So often we come here and have typical English rain and mist and cold, and the wind blows in, and it's a fantastic place when the sun is out, and the sun falls directly over the beach, so you can sit and have a beer in the evening or watch the sun come down. But we're going to miss that because we're going to be still commentating when that happens tonight. Felix Rosenqvist, the first man to take his grid spot on the pole position. Vital for him to try and pick up maximum points from all 3 races. So far, he's on course with maximum points from race 1. Even though he finished second, Danny Kvyat cannot score in this championship because he's still entered as a guest driver. The car of Carlin Motorsport not entered. It's very confusing actually, because Kvyat running for Carlin Motorsport, who arguably are one of the strongest teams in this championship, whereas the other Red Bull car of Tom Blomqvist running under Euro International. And Euro International did have 2 cars, but Red Bull chose to place Kvyat with Carlin, and Blomqvist stayed with Euro International. So a bit of a split decision. And I think Tom Blomqvist really paying the price.
Yes. Yeah, for having a 1-car team. And also, I believe that Euro International is thinking about entering the AutoGP Championship next year. With 2 cars. So maybe Formula 3 is not their priority at the moment.
Yeah, the grid girls are definitely cold. Muka Motorsport, Prema Power and Carlin, the 3 big teams, and all having a good result in that first race. Felix for Muka Motorsport in 2nd position on the podium. Carlin were represented by this man, Dan Kvyat. And Alex Lynn for Prema Power. Carlin got 3 cars in the top 5 spots. So really good job by Trevor Carlin. He's got 3 full-time designers, engineers, simply to hone and tweak that Dallara. Effectively the same car off the shelf, but then there are certain areas that the teams can fiddle with to make their car better than the rest. And you'll see there's a little chink out of the front of the wing end plate there on Jordan King's car. That is a design tweak. That is something they found in the wind tunnel to allow the car to be a little bit faster. If you look at the other cars, they don't have it.
It's funny, isn't it? You try and make it a 1-make series, and then you give the teams a little bit of leeway, and it instantly makes it expensive again because they start spending time in wind tunnels and things. One
of the big things that they did a lot of actually was there was a bit of an open platform under the car with a floor. They hadn't actually closed off the regulations on that. So at the start of the year, had lots of different designs for the underfloor and especially the tongue. Thankfully, everyone seems to have got to the same point now, and there isn't any more development that can be done to make it faster. But certainly, Fortec, Carlin, Prema have slightly different solutions, certainly for getting the car off the line as well, the clutch system, and then Veris Aerodynamics.
She's gold.
She needs a hug. I'll go and volunteer later. Rafael Marcello, there is the championship leader. 7th position on the grid. He's got Durrani, Tinknell, King, Lynn, Kvyat and Rosenqvist ahead of him. The eyes shut and focusing very much on what he needs to do. And one of the main things is to keep out of trouble going into the first turn. Here's Sven Muller. Drove for Macon for most of the year. Now with this Van Amersfoort team, who know the track very well, the Dutch team. Lost Mans Grenhagen, and now Sven taking over from Grenhagen's vacant seat. And there is Tom Blomqvist in 9th.
It's funny that we see Tom Blomqvist being listed as British, isn't it? I think he's not Swedish, is he? Officially.
He's not Swedish officially, no.
It was just his dad.
But he is Swedish, yeah, exactly. Mitch Gilbert.
I mean, his dad's famous in Holland. Stig Blomqvist.
He's famous around the world, isn't he?
Yeah, because he used to rallycross against Jan de Rooij, who you know from the Dakar Rally. Yeah. So he's pretty famous here, actually. They got a corner named after him at one of the rallycross tracks.
Wow. Jan Mardenborough, big name this year in world of motorsport. 2 years ago, racing on a PlayStation. And this year he's completed in the Spa 24 hours, the Le Mans 24 hours, and this is his first year in F3 single-seaters. Really impressive guy, and learning his craft with Carlin Motorsport. A bit too young really to expect him to be up the sharp end, but every so often he does have a great result.
And he raced here as well in the Nissan GT1 car earlier in the year. And he did really well there, actually.
Such different cars as well, a GT3 car to a Formula 3 to an LMP2. Really impressive. Felix Morales for Fortec. Second year for him with the Fortec team. British Formula 3 last year, and this year the FIA European Championship. Fortec running 3 cars, and I should actually correct myself because I did say that Alfonso Celis, who is the 3rd driver for that team, has never driven a single-seater. I was wrong.
Ooh, he's done it once then.
PR for Fortec, Louise Rich, corrected me and said that actually he's running in the Northern European Championship in Formula Renault this year with Fortec.
Okay.
But his driver DB situation did not show that, and therefore that is why I was ill-informed.
That championship you mentioned, the Northern European Cup's actually a great series at the moment with... I think they got over 40 cars entered for every race. Yeah. I mean, it runs sort of parallel to the Euro Cup, and it's a great championship for drivers who are in their first year of Formula Renault, want to learn about the car, learn about the tracks, learn about everything, and then maybe do the Euro Cup in the second year. But that championship is absolutely booming.
And actually a real feeder series for this championship. Jordan King was at the sharp end of it last year. It's his first year in Formula 3 and has won the British F3 Championship last weekend and has qualified on 4th position for both the first 2 races. Finished 4th in race 1 and will start 4th race 2 here. Very good karter back in the day. Plenty of backing as well, plenty of support, and someone to really watch, I think. Second year in Formula 3 next year should be very strong. If he decides to stay, I think he should. You really do learn a lot in this category.
Well, team personnel moving away. Now do we need to get the grid girls to get out of the way, and then we can start this race. And the all-important start and the run down to the first corner where Rosenqvist will try and take the lead, but not at all costs, because if Kvyat has a good start, as you've mentioned, he doesn't score points. You need to... You know, you don't need to fight with that man until you sort of end up in the gravel together, because he needs to score points, and he needs to score. Rosenqvist needs to score more points than Marciello, and he's way ahead of him on the grid. So you know, it's a great chance for the Swede to get that all done.
I've got a feeling the pole grid girl is going to be put down a few rows for race 2 and 3. She looks rather too cold now. not enough smiling going on from pole grid girl.
Rosenqvist, who you mentioned also won the Masters twice, although
yes.
I spoke to him after or before this year's Masters. I said, hey, you can win this one again. And he says, well, I didn't. Yes, I won that one, but it wasn't really my race, was it? He said, because at the start we had a crash between Juncadella and Murray, who drove each other into the wall even before the pit lane ended. And then Rosenqvist was just basically the lucky third to pick up first place and win that race. So he was really happy after the Masters this year that he said, well, this one I really won. He said the other one was more of a lucky thing because the other two Spaniards didn't want to, they kept arguing over the same bit of tarmac. And he said, so now he felt a lot better winning this year the Masters. And it's only him and Valtteri Bottas that won the Masters twice.
Yes, I was trying to remember the second person as you were talking just then. And indeed, Valtteri Bottas, Formula 3 driver, Formula 1 driver, sorry. It still is, however much it's been diluted by the fact there's no regional series anymore to really join in to the Masters of Formula 3. It's still one of the races to do and to be seen to do alongside Macau.
Yeah, well, it's a one-off. So it's a one-off, winner takes all. You know, there's only one Masters winner every year. That's one European champion, but that's like a lot of races, and you can be consistent. And you know, in an essence, you don't have to win a race to win the championship, but to win the Masters, you have to win that race.
Yeah, and you've got to be really prepared and ready.
Yeah,
it's a different type of pressure, but that sort of same pressure is starting to mount on Felix Rosenqvist's shoulders now, as the gap is still pretty significant between him and Marcello. Picking up 25 points this morning, he reduced the gap to something around the region of 60 points. It was 72.5. Oh, one of the Fortec guys legging it off the circuit. Maybe a penalty, whoever he was starting, because need to clear the grid by a certain point.
This is the worst moment, because now you just want to get away. You don't want it to stall driving away for the parade lap.
They all have a system whereby to get the car off the line in the best possible way, to lay down some rubber, especially on the inside of the circuit where it is still quite dusty. We've seen in all the race starts so far, the inside has been very much not the place to be. And a pretty heavy pace being put down by Felix Rosenqvist there.
Yeah, I think what he should do is just go really fast in the first half of this parade lap, and then make sure the brakes are up to temperature, tires are where you want them, and then from basically where we see the second intermediate, where the chicane is, from there on he can really slow the pace down and have one group of cars go towards the start. That's, you know, usually what the best way is of doing these things, because the thing he doesn't want is be at the start line and wait there on the grid for everybody else to form it.
Yeah, because although you get a little bit of heat soak, you will also lose heat.
Yeah.
In the brakes and the tyres, and then you can't be as late on the brakes into that first corner, which is going to be very important for Rosenqvist. Lynn, King, Tinknell, Durrani, Marcello, Muller, Blomqvist, Mitch Gilbert, 10th. A good qualifying session for the Australian. Mardenborough and Lewis, Sorales, Nick Latifi, 14th position. Alexander Sims disappointed with 15th. Cheever, Lucas Hours got some work to do in 17th spot. Giovinazzi, Van der Laar, and the rest of the top 20. And then those who had some problems. Alfonso Salas there, you can see, the man we just mentioned, not in his first ever single-seater race.
And of course we have got Tatjana Calderon in this race again.
Tania Calderon, the only female in this race. We did have Michela Ceruti appear for Romeo Ferrari team, but alongside Gary Thompson, in fact. But Gary and Michela, neither were able to complete a full season, and Michela she's made some other starts, but concentrating on the Superstars and Blancpain, I think she's also racing in.
Well, there it says 23 laps. Well, that ain't going to happen with a 30-minute time.
We only managed 18 laps in race one after 2 safety car periods.
Yeah.
Maximum distance is only 30 minutes in this race, so I think we might have a timed race rather than a laps race. Now you see they're being very aggressive, getting those tyres up to temperature. That scares me when I'm doing that. The embarrassment of spinning when warming up the tyres.
Well, and again, we'll see someone try and go around the outside of turn one. We've seen it in the first race, we've seen it in the Porsche race, we will see it in this race. Just hope everything will run clean, and we haven't got a safety car in the 30 minutes of racing that lie ahead of us.
There is Marcello. He's got 3 rows of cars ahead of him. And some work to do here in Zandvoort for race 2 of the weekend. And finally, after the delay, we are racing, and a great start from Felix Rosenqvist. What a start!
Oh, Marcello stalled.
Oh, Marcello stalled! Marcello is going to the back of the field. That is a nightmare, and suddenly is opening up the championship. Round the outside goes Jan Mardenborough in the mid-pack there. Good, brave piece of driving around the outside, and what a start from Rosenqvist. Look at the lead he's got already over Alex Lynn in second. Kvyat dropping to third from the inside. Then it's Jordan King. Oh, and Chiva's off with Anton Giovinazzi.
Well, if Chiva stays there, then we might have a safety car, but I think he's out of the car. That should be able to just pull that back into a safe position.
Danny Kvyat was right on the tail of Alex Lynn through the back end of the circuit, and it's pushed him now into the clutches of Jordan King behind him. After King, it's Durrani, then it's Tignal, Muller, Blomqvist, Gilbert, and Jan Mardenborough. Mardenborough up into the top 10. Good start then. Just settling down a little bit. There's Chiva.
Did he hurt his heart? Well, he didn't take his hand off the wheel.
Yeah, it looks like he's hurt his hand just a little bit.
Yep.
And we got the safety car.
Yeah, there's no surprise there.
There is no surprise there. Very difficult to recover a car in that place. The safety car driver has done a lot of work today.
I actually agree with that. I mean, they need to get onto the track. They need to work in front of the Armco. So it's just, you know, especially the beginning of a race when everybody's eager and tries to do a thing, and they didn't really behave when there were yellow flags in the other race. So why not do the safety car? It's a shame for Felix Rosenqvist because he had a great lead. He had a great lead going for him. And I think Chiva has hurt his arm. Ah. Well, he didn't hurt it. And then he realized it hurts.
Yes, exactly. But yeah, when you wrap your thumb down through the inside of the steering wheel, sometimes it has a little wrench. But
I mean, but maybe it happened even when the car sort of ran on top of him.
Certainly very frustrated, and damaged suspension as well for the Double R team. So Giovinazzi is out. He's just caught his knuckle.
A bit of ice, and I think he'll be fine. You look at the eyes, he actually looks like he's dead.
Yeah, very deep, dark eyes. Giovinazzi was in contention for the British Championship going into the final weekend's racing, but not had the same luck in the European Championship. And another look at it.
Yeah, well, they just tried to go too wide. Chiva maybe not giving the guy inside a lot of room. He might be a little bit of an opportunist trying to outbrake someone into that right-hander, which isn't really on unless you're alongside him. And it didn't seem like he was alongside when Chiva turned in.
Well, Giovinazzi certainly ended up very much, past Chiva, so there must have been a relatively good overlap. But it is so tight, that first section, isn't it? Running too wide, you've got to be very, very careful. Marcello did drop the clutch, and then it just stopped on him.
Oh. That does not do championship chances any good.
It was a great reaction time, actually. Very, very good reaction time, but maybe too much. Maybe he hesitated. And he fell right to the back of the field. Here's Alex Lynn cutting across Danny Kvyat and taking that second place. Lynn very strong into that first turn. There's Mardenborough going around the outside, taking a really good start. Mardenborough now lying in 11th position. The accident between Chiva and Giovinazzi.
Well, it's open wheel racing. Wheels get sort of interlocked. This is the old thing that if neither driver gives up, then you have a shunt.
And everyone is fighting so hard in this championship. All these young hotheads desperately trying to make an impression. It's not the same as GT racing where you do give each other a little bit of respect. There isn't any respect in young racing because everyone is out for themselves. And I think that's sort of the point when it comes to we were talking about earlier, defending and overtaking to that first turn and running someone off the road.
Yep.
Round the outside seems to work through Tarzan. But as you say, why not just run them out of road on the first turn?
Well, only they know, Ben. I remember when I started racing here in back in the early 80s, I was racing for a team run by Jan Lammers. And he actually, he said, you come down the straight, you defend your inside, let them go round the outside, but they will not overtake you. That was my very first lesson. Yes, Jan. Worked ever since, I must say.
Cheever's car gets pulled away. The person that's been really damaged by the safety car is Rosenqvist, because he had such a great start. 2.1 seconds was the gap at the start of lap 2 when the safety car came out. It's a good pace though that the safety car is keeping up, isn't it? Yeah,
they're doing 2:16, which is actually a really good pace.
Yeah, the speed over the start finishing line, 174 kilometers an hour.
Well, I think what they're trying to do is keep the speed up, because with the temperature being low, you need to keep some heat and pressures in the tyres.
It's going to make such a difference when it comes to the restart, especially in these shadowed areas. As soon as the track gets into shadow, it's going to be a lot cooler than the ones still in the sun. As the sun continues to come down.
Well, Rosenqvist was really good on the restart in the first race when the first start he overtook Alex Lynn and had a go at FIA Kvyat on the second restart, so he should know. And it is Alex Lynn in second, who was actually half asleep on both the restarts. So maybe if he's lucky and the safety car lights are out, then he can sort of get that 2-second gap back even before the first corner, because Alex Lynn, I thought, wasn't strong on the restart.
Absolutely right. Tricky one once again. The restarts so difficult to manage. How long do you wait to let the safety car go? And then when do you drop the gun and try and outfox the cars behind you? We saw Danny Kvyat do it in a pretty conventional place, coming out of the chicane in the first of the safety car restarts in race 1. But the second time he did it going into the chicane, which was a slightly more unconventional approach. He needs to try something different to try and outfox them. What is Rosenqvist going to do? It's a good, slow pace. Everyone boxed up behind, trying to get some temperature into the tyres.
Well, Alex Lynn is on the case now.
And he goes midway through the chicane.
No, he's not.
Whoa! Lynn was there, but he was almost too close, wasn't he? He was almost too close to take advantage when Rosenqvist dropped the hammer, and coming over the start-finishing line, it's going to be a really good advantage to Rosenqvist. It's going to be a good battle, I think, for 5th and 6th between Durrani and Tincknell. No, it's not Durrani and Tincknell. It's Alexander Sims making a move. No, that's Sven Muller, sorry, going up the inside of Blomqvist. So Muller moving into 7th position. Good start from Sven Muller.
Marciello dropped down to 19th position. That's not where he wants to be.
Well, it should provide us with some entertainment with 20 minutes remaining in this race. Let's see if you can pass around Zandvoort. At the moment, he's going to lose another 25 points. And suddenly that gap is going to be under 40 points.
Yes, the replay of Rosenqvist just getting out of shape.
Roberto Merri, a very interested spectator in every single round of the F3 European Championship. He's still obviously a massive race fan.
That will be, Müller will be under investigation.
You think?
Yeah. I think he's just safe, because on the computer he shows being behind.
Yeah.
Or level with Tom Blomqvist, but it's close. That might be just looked at by the eye, like, do we have a...
But isn't there a safety car line just before the start finishing line as well?
Not as far as I know.
There is Marcello, and he just doesn't look like he's even got pace.
No.
Looking very, very slow at the back of the field. So did he damage the car?
No, 35.4. It's a slow time, but it's slower than the guys he's trying to catch. It's faster than the guys behind him, so he hasn't got a problem.
There he is there.
Oop. Unless you see the sun. Yeah, that is the problem. You drive straight into the sun, you come around the corner, and there he is.
That's Alfonso Celas with Goddard just behind him. We pick up Marcello. Now, clear air. What sort of speeds he got in clear air? Mardenborough's lost a place to Lucas Auer on that last lap. Just seeing on the timing screens.
Well, he's slow. I mean, he's slow as in he's got the pace of P6, 7, 8. He hasn't got the pace of Rosenqvist and Lynn.
Rosenqvist a 40.6 to Marcello's 40.9 for the first sector. Down to the chicane. Really needs to show that he can fight now. It's a good, really good way of proving himself to the Ferrari management who are here this weekend. Stalling, a bad thing. Fighting back with some real power, a very, very good thing. The pace isn't there at the moment. Rosenqvist leads by 1.6 seconds. Kvyat, 2.8. Then King, Durrani, Tinknell, Sven Muller, who seems to really have the pace in 7th position. Blomqvist, Gilbert, and Lewis in the top 10. Then it's Sims, Auer, and Mardenborough, who, after that great start, does seem to be dropping down just a little bit. Sorales and Latifi is 15th.
Well, it says that we're on lap 6 out of 23 or 7 out of 23, but we're never going to make that. There's only just under 18 minutes to go in this race, so there'll be about just over 10 laps.
So even more work for Marcello to do.
Yep.
And in fact, it's very unrealistic to expect him into the points, I think. From 18th position he is now. The gap between Marcello and points is 6 seconds, so he really has to have a starring pace to do anything with this. There is Danny Kvyat, Russian. Here, really, just to show that he is competitive against some of the best juniors in the world with his Red Bull backing. Can't score points, although he's pretty much done the whole championship. I think he missed the first, certainly missed the first round. Whether he missed the first 2 rounds, check. Yeah, missed Monza and Silverstone, but began racing when the series partnered the DTM in Hockenheim at the start of the year, and has done every single round since.
Well, Kvyat's like Helmut Marko. Dr. Helmut Marko says, like, you have to be fast in anything. That's why he sticks him in all these cars. And if they do that at Red Bull, because I think they did the same with Carlos Sainz, who's doing some World Series, they just want to see how you cope. And if you cope well, then you're good. If you don't cope well, they'll say goodbye.
Lucas Wolf has either stopped or spun. Well, he stopped, but has he spun or has he had a car failure? We saw him with problems. You're not going to get push started, Lucas, that's for sure. Some big old lock-up marks on the left-hand wheel, so I assume he might have spun. But Lucas Wolf, who I called Lucas Lure this morning, had problems in race 1. He crashed in qualifying as well.
Is that where he parked in race 1 before the start?
It might well have been, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what he did. Whoops.
Ooh, oh, Marcello's had to take avoiding action as well. That is a nightmare. And yellow flag.
Safety car deployed.
Okay.
I think. Yep. So we have another 2 safety cars.
Wow.
Is it us, Ben?
What a weekend. What a weekend. And we've here for us, we've got Porsches as well. Oh, he's got it going again. So now that's going to confuse everyone. Will the safety car go out still? Yes, it does. But the safety car can now come straight back in again because the offender has got going.
Yeah, but there is a rule that marshals shouldn't touch your car, is there?
Well, he definitely had stalled, hadn't he? So if he was helped to get going again, you could argue that it was in safety reasons. Now, those guys further back will need to really step on it to get into the queue, because that safety car could come in when we get round to the back of the lap.
Yep.
concentration, wits about you.
So Felix Rosenqvist has got to do it all over again.
Oh. 3 seconds the gap on that last lap.
Yeah.
Back down to nothing.
So Alex Lynn will know where he took off during that first restart.
Exactly.
So he's got to think of something else. This is great. Look, he keeps putting the steering wheel, and the guy says, "Oi!"
Stop being such a child. Well, of course, Lucas Wolff wanted to continue and get push started, and the marshals wanted to get him off the track. Right, safety car lights are out. We are going racing again. And has the field all caught up? I don't think it quite has.
Yeah, it has, I think. The top 22's past Sector 1. Now, where is he going to go now?
Hopefully all of the drivers further back have got the message that we're racing again. Certainly it will be quite tricky to see if the safety car is there or not.
Wouldn't it be funny if he keeps this speed until the until start finish? Well, he's done it even better now because he's gone earlier.
Yeah, a little bit earlier, and it has allowed Lynn to be a little bit closer than he was last time. But Lynn was very, very close again to the gearbox, and I just don't think there's a need to be that close.
But yes, you have to be. But the thing is, you have to be in his gearbox, and as soon as he goes, you just go with him.
Lucas Wolff pulling over before the start-finishing line. Are those cars going to get punished for passing Wolff before the green flag? I really hope not, because that will punish a huge amount of drivers.
Yeah, well, if he stops, then I don't think so.
Well, he's not stopping, is he? He's just getting out of the way, which is very good of him, but could cause a bit of an issue. No overtaking before the green flag, regardless of whether it's a lap car or not.
No, I agree. There he is, flashing his rear light.
So, Rosenqvist once again gets away with it. Lynn, second position, Kvyat third. Then King in fourth position. And Durrani right behind him in fifth. So Rosenqvist, Lynn, Kvyat, King, Durrani.
Marcello in 17th. And it's basically lucky for Marcello because it's one big queue of cars, and if he has the speed, it'll be easier to pick one or two off.
Yeah, but we said that after the first safety car.
Yeah.
He didn't do it. He's made up one more position since we last looked. He's now in 17th spot. But after that restart, he hasn't made any more progress, rattling over the curbs.
Well, there he is, one more corner to go. Try and get the slipstream, but he's not even close enough to get a slipstream from... who is that in front of him?
Is that Roy Nazani, I think? Oh, someone's off, and in the barriers. And
Marcello?
No, it's not. It's it's Sorales. Durales. That's the Fortec wonder kid of Durrani and Sorales. But Sorales is off in the wall. And thankfully has deposited his car way away from the racetrack. There he is. Frustrated with himself. We saw Sims going off there.
Is that the same spot we're in off this morning?
That's where Sims we saw go off.
Yeah.
Oh, what a mess. Oof. Kept his foot in, which was very brave of him. And he's now made a right mess of the suspension as well as his front nose. Thankfully, he's done it well off the circuit. So we won't have a safety car, we won't need a safety car.
No, that is parked in a very safe place. Oh, a lovely shot with the sun going down. And here you can see how bright the sun shines straight into their visors. And now trying to focus on your braking point and your turning point and all that. Well, there is some people overtaking each other, but not this man, Rafael Marcello.
That was Michael Lewis, who's obviously made a mistake. He's lost 2 or 3 positions there. And now Marcello on the tail, trying to find a way through. Lucas Auer making a little error. Nick Latifi struggling to try and get past him. We want to see what's going on in front, director, not the Marcello, because he's just not doing anything. Latifi having a great fight.
1.8 seconds is the lead that Felix Rosenqvist has over Alex Lynn, and with under 10 minutes to go. I would say that is safe.
Sims with Lucas Auer around the outside of him and trying to squeeze him. Oh, it's so close. Sims doing what you were talking about. Bullying him at wide so he can't make a move. And now Latifi sniffs an opportunity. But really not through there. There's no way to pass. Latifi just needs to line himself up for a good run out of here and potentially try and draw alongside down at the far end of the circuit. If he compromises himself, then he'll be sucked in. And Marcello just doing nothing, just watching it, watching it all unfold ahead of him. All of these guys are compromising their speed, and that should allow Marcello to have a go, and it's just not doing anything. There was the move. And in fact, Lucas Auer just trying to pinch him too much, and Sims just running him wide.
Yeah, but Sims led him, though. Sims should have gone straight on a little bit more. If he goes straight on another 5 meters, there's no way Lucas Auer could have turned and even made this corner like this. Would have made him a lot easier. But Sims did it well. Get him wide and make sure he's behind you when you exit the corner.
Kvyat with King chasing him down. It's pretty close for that third position. Jordan King has only ever had one podium in the F3 European Championship, despite winning the British Championship fair and square. And that was at the Red Bull Ring a couple of weekends ago. Meetings ago, I should say.
It's quite funny that Kvyat can't follow the guys ahead at the moment. Well, there's a good fight behind there between Latifi and Auer.
Yeah, very, very close. Latifi's gone all the way around the outside of Latifi, of Auer. That was a very good move.
Auer should have known how to handle that.
Yeah. Well, he was looking to go down the inside, but I think he'd lost the corner in the braking zone. He didn't really have a chance to fight back at all. Latifi was already too far gone.
The other problem is that I think Lucas Auer has a problem because he's lost speed. The other guys are so much faster at the moment. Alexander Sims did a 32.7 and Lucas Auer on that lap did a 34.2, and you know that's the first free lap Alexander Sims had, and he instantly gets look at the gap he has on Latifi, who's now ahead of what's his name, Lucas Auer.
And there is Alexander Sims at the back of shot, just ahead. Sven Muller with Tom Blomqvist behind him. Blomqvist just locking the rears and sliding into the corner, backing it in with working a MotoGP bike. Maybe not so much on a Formula 3 car. Then a bit of a gap to Mitch Gilbert, Sims, and then that battle between Latifi, Auer, Michael Lewis and Jan Mardenborough in there as well, Roy Nazani and Rafael Marcello, the leader of the championship, sitting in 16th position and seemingly with no answer.
There's just under 7 minutes to go in this race, and Alex Lynn is actually closing the gap on Felix Rosenqvist.
Here comes Mardenborough trying to go around the outside of Lewis. Doesn't have enough speed going into the turn. Is going to have to sit back into the slipstream. So close though. Just needs an opportunity to overtake. Looking very, very good, Jan Mardenborough. He lost those positions a couple of laps ago, but now it seems to have got the bit between his teeth and wants to fight back. Down towards the back end of the circuit. Director showing us Marcello doing nothing. But an interesting little battle here with Roy Nazani slowly improving in this championship with the crack Muka Motorsport team. He's had a few issues this year. But there is his teammate and leader of the race, Rosenqvist, Lynn, then a gap, Kvyat and King, Durrani, Tinknell, Sven Muller and Tom Blomqvist.
Yeah, just over 5 minutes to go, and there's Marcello having a look, but only that with Nissany at Nissany's inside, but you know, he didn't even try.
It either shows that it's really, really impossible to find that extra bit of speed and overtake in a Formula 3 car, or Marcello is just not trying hard enough, because he has obviously got the speed over a lap in qualifying to put him in a decent spot to give him then 3 good races, but when he actually comes to racecraft, We're not seeing anything particularly special at the moment from Raffaele Marcello.
No, that's the problem with a lot of drivers. They can be fast over one lap, but racecraft is a totally different ball game. You know, there's racecraft and racecraft. And someone like, you know, I like racecraft-wise, is someone like Lewis Hamilton. You know, who's an out-and-out racer, and doesn't necessarily be the fastest one on one lap, but he can race cars, and that's. Whoops, Rosenqvist's rear tyres are gone.
Absolutely, making a little error.
Well, he's been sort of gradually being reeled in by Alex Lynn. It's a 10th in the first sector. The second sector, they're almost equal, but it was a gap of 1.8 seconds. The last time they came round, it's 1.1 seconds. So with 4 minutes to go, it's, I would say, 2 laps, maybe 3 maximum, that this race will be 3 laps. So it's going to be close, but is Alex Lynn going to get close enough to actually mount a challenge?
Of course, that was a left-hand turn, one of the few left-hand turns on the circuit. Potentially, those right-hand tyres have done 2 races, so even those are being slightly worn. Here is Durrani under pressure from Harry Tincknell. Those two know each other well from racing in the British Championship last year and have pretty much been on the same part of the circuit in most of the races this year as well. Fortek versus Carlin, both crack Formula 3 teams. Durrani's best weekend by far the last time out at the Nürburgring. A second and a third position over that weekend. Fortek just found that extra bit of pace for him and Sorales, and they had a really good time.
Yeah, it moved and then it stopped.
He was also quite far forward in his box.
It's almost as if bogged down. He sort of, you know, it moved and then it just.
But the thing about it is, you've got to then have a recovery drive, and I've got to say I'm not particularly impressed with the recovery drive that he's performed. He's 17 seconds off his championship rival Felix Rosenqvist after probably 10 laps of running. Rosenqvist is going to get 2 more laps in, though. The one he comes on to now and the next one.
He's responding with a 32.4, which is exactly the same time Alex Lynn did on that lap, and there's a good battle.
Durrani and Tincknell. Tincknell's going to go around the outside. Durrani has just got a nose enough, I think.
No, that's not going to work. Durrani did that really well because he moved Tincknell to the outside a little bit under braking, so Tincknell couldn't go deep under braking and sort of almost complete the pass before the corner. That was really good defensive.
What about Sven Muller? Sven Muller in that battle as well and looking pretty strong.
Well, he's actually the fastest of the 3 at the moment.
Yeah. But there's one thing being fast, another thing about getting past, isn't there? But at least the gap between those guys does look close. It looks like Tincknell's making an effort to try and pass, and vice versa with Sven Muller. But when you look further back at the body language in Marcello's car, it's almost as though as soon as he stalled the car, he gave up. As soon as he just, no chance of points.
Gap saying the same, identical lap times for Alex Lynn and Felix Rosenqvist, who will start his last lap when he crosses start-finish. Or actually, I should say finish, because the start is about 50 meters further back.
Oh yeah, the confusing thing where the start and finishing lines are slightly different places.
Yeah, that's one of the problems, because when you see the safety car here, then you have, they measure it at the finish line, but the green light will start at the start line, so that's always a very tricky thing here with safety cars.
Looks like Danny Kvyat's now safe in that 3rd position. This now the last lap. And has Marcello made up any ground? He was 16th last time through, and he is still 16th with Van der Laar's made an error, because Van der Laar's dropped down into 15th position behind Nazani. So somewhere it's been a bad lap for Van der Laar, the Dutchman, racing for a Dutch team. Good backing on that car, the Discovery Channel.
Yeah, it's one of those things that happens when you don't expect it, I would say. I think his father's office is next door to the Discovery Channel office in Holland, and I think that's how they got started. Yeah, that's how it all started.
Fantastic.
And that's how they all do things together.
In the lift on the way to work.
So, something like that, yeah. They actually do nice little features for Discovery Channel Holland, and they put it out, and it's actually quite nice.
2 corners left then for Felix Rosenqvist, who is on course for scoring a maximum 50 points out of 50 so far this weekend. He's had a long day waiting for it to happen. But here he comes to the checker flag, shadowed home by Alex Lynn in 2nd position for Prema Power. And in 3rd position, another podium for Danny Kvyat and Carlin Motorsport. The same 3 that we saw on the podium in race 1, again in race 2, but in a different order. But the main talking point of the race surely has to be the man we're searching for now, Rafael Marcello, only 16th with no pace and no fight after stalling at the start of the race.
And basically no points.
And no points as well. There is Peter Mucker, looking very happy with that. Mitch Gilbert 9th as well. Michael Lewis 13th and Roy Nizana 14th is for...
Robin Franks is here.
Yeah.
Oh, and Jan Mardenborough is pulled off at post 12, so around the back of the track before the chicane.
Oh, went off. Same thing, you know, you get sucked into that, hit the Armco, here we go.
Oh.
Well, that must have happened on the last lap. You see, you go over the curbs, you get sucked into it, and then it's just a matter of taking your hands off the wheel and waiting for the Armco to stop you going any further left. That'll hurt his knee.
He's going to be very frustrated with that on the last lap as well. But 2 safety cars managed and an attack from Alex Lynn. A pretty good job from Felix Rosenqvist. He should be pretty happy with himself. Peter Mucker certainly will be happy with him.
I think the question will be, can this man leave this track tomorrow being the new leader of the championship?
Mathematically, I think now impossible.
Okay.
But certainly he's already a lot closer. He's now must be within about 35 points of Marcello, maybe 40.
John McGill there on the left, the engineer of the Prema Power team, who's he ran Sebastian Bourdais in Formula 1 when he was working for Toro Rosso, and he did work for Renault and BAR in F1, and just decided that he didn't want to do the travel and thought working on a Formula 3 team is a lot better. Went to work for Prema Power.
Very nice.
So, and I've known him actually quite a young. The very first race he ever did as a mechanic, I just remember, was here in 1992 when he ran a Formula Ford for me. When I did one Formula Ford race.
Look at that, Danny Kvyat had a clear visor on for that race. I bet that was a little tricky to utilise.
Yep.
See his eyes, concentrating. Better visor choice for Alex Lynn in 2nd position. And again, just look at the initial understeer, and then the rear follows the car around. He gets back on the power.
Well, yeah, I understand one of those Brits goes to, I think of his name, does the Formula Renault, the Northern European Cup, races for Vortec. One of those racing steps guys.
Indeed, yeah. Jake Dennis.
Yeah, Jake Dennis. He will probably race for Prema Power in Formula 3 next year.
Oh, there's a good, if you're still with us, that's a good story to investigate. Allard Kauf, the investigative journalist, secret squirrel.
Yeah, but it does mean that the fight will go towards Vallelunga, and it will not be decided here this weekend. And Raffaele Marcello, I think, has a fight on his hands, because if Rosenqvist keeps up the momentum, he will be favourite to win the title.
Vallelunga's a tricky one, though, because Prema Power do a lot of testing in Vallelunga. It's their home circuit. And when it was put on the calendar, a lot of people very upset, Mucker Motorsport especially, that we were going to Prema Power's home track. So the Formula 3 guys have been given a full day's testing on the Friday to get used to the circuit, but surely still Prema are going to have a little bit of an advantage. And so Mucker are going to have to maximise this weekend, because also Prema Power have been historically very strong at the Hockenheim as well.
Yeah, but if you're in the flow and you're Felix Rosenqvist and you're there to win the title, it doesn't matter you haven't been there.
Yeah.
It just, you know, it's just one of those things. You just cope with it, you deal with it, and it's not going to be that he's going to be last on the grid, is it? He might be behind Marcello for 1 or 2 qualifying sessions, but he'll be close. He just needs to make sure he's leading by the time they get to Vallelunga.
I think he just needs to show that he's got more fight.
Exactly.
A helicopter shot from earlier on with our graphics and the results. Rosenqvist, Lin, Kvyat, King, another good finish from Durrani, Tinknell 6th, Sven Muller fighting in the end at 7th, Blomqvist up to 8th, then Mitch Gilbert and Alexander Sims in 10th. Latifi fought at the end to move up a few places to 11th. Auer, Lewis, Nazani, Vandelar dropping to 15th, Marcello doing nothing in 16th spot, Sellis, Goddard, Zeller, and then again those that had problems. Tatia Calderon rounding up the 22 finishes, and Jan Mardenborough on the last lap, falling off the circuit. It is a beautiful place, isn't it? Wow, look at that.
It is lovely.
It's a place you call home.
Well, I used to live here 20 years. 20 years on the beach. Absolutely brilliant. This was Formula 3. Now we've got... are we waiting for this Porsche Carrera Cup race that's still going to happen?
We have a Porsche Carrera Cup race after this. Here's the points then. So 34.5 is the gap now. I said 35, so that was a very good educated guess. Lin stronger now in that 3rd position. Auer, Tinknell, King moving up into 6th position. Blomqvist, Sorales no points. Durrani closing in on his teammate, and Sven Muller in 10th position. So Rosenqvist can pick up 25 tomorrow, and he will be within 10 of Marcello if Marcello doesn't score.
But he starts further to the front tomorrow, doesn't he?
5th.
Ah.
5th for Marcello and pole for Rosenqvist. So not a huge amount of an advantage. It's amazing that you can't even see traces of the old circuit from that helicopter shot. You can't even see anything that used to resemble a circuit.
No.
The Centre Parks resort just alongside is where the circuit went through. Rosenqvist and Alex Lin congratulating each other.
Peter Mucker. Of course, his son races in the Aston Martin these days, isn't it, Stefan?
Are they related?
It's his son.
Ah, I never put 2 and 2 together.
That's actually why they started the team, to have Stefan racing.
Let's see. Of course, Alex Lin's father, Sean, races a lot of historics as well, and Alex finds himself sporadically in classic Formula 3 races to learn circuits.
Oh, that's really a really good thing to do. I remember when a long time ago one of the Schechter boys came over, Thomas, and he did Formula 3000, and he was always a pain to learn the circuits. And Jody made him do the Porsche Super Cup because that session was on Friday morning. You'd learn the track, and then we just do the first session and do Formula 3000 the rest of the weekend.
Well, thankfully, they fitted floodlights to the podium so we can see the faces of the drivers. Rosenqvist, Alex Lin, and Danny Kvyat. And now the national anthem.
Zucker Motorsports, who actually won their first Formula 3 race, were here when they won the Masters with Christian Klein a long time ago, which was actually the win that catapulted Christian into the Red Bull Formula 1 team.
One of the first Red Bull Academy drivers, I suppose. Sporadically appears in Superstars series, doesn't he now?
Yeah, V8 supercars in Australia, and I think he's doing some, trying to do some sports cars as well now.
Oh, ADAC Master Series, that's right. I've seen him in that as well.
Great talent. Maybe dropped in a Formula 1 car too soon, but great talent he was. Now it's time to wash the overalls, I would think.
Yeah, they can go in the laundry overnight and therefore get covered in Henkentrucken. German sparkling wine. And Rosenqvist deserves that after a long day. Lots of things to manage, and he's managed to pick up 2 maximum points. Fantastic stuff. Danny Kvyat showing a good turn of speed as well. It's been a long day for Formula 3 with their first race at 11 o'clock and their second well past 6. But Rosenqvist has managed to pick up a maximum 50 points to come away just 35 now back from Marcello, who stalled at the start of race 2 and made no impression whatsoever after that. Join us tomorrow morning for the 3rd and final race from Zandvoort. Until then, from me, Ben Kostenjuris, and Allard Kelf, have a nice evening.